What's good? It's R360, and today we're going to be talking about the failure of Generational Z. And the main reason that Generational Z is filled with a whole bunch of flunkies is because we lack direction. We don't have no direction, and it's kind of hard for baby boomers and millenniums to kind of help us and give us a leading hand because they didn't have no directions. So this puts them in a tough position, especially when it comes to millennials, because they have to be the kind of anchor in a balance to help us be able to have some form of direction when it comes to how society is being crafted and molded for people that's coming up, and especially when it comes to generational Z. So this is going to be between ages 12 and 27. So if you're between the ages of 12 and 27, this is kind of like the generation of flunkies because we don't have no direction. We don't have no actual figure to kind of help us and point us in in the right direction where society needs to be steered. Because when it comes to the way that society is being governed, we only have people that's being utilized as puppets and narratives to push society in a certain direction, and this direction is kind of unfavorable, especially for humanity, because when it comes to humanity having to evolve, when it comes to the things that we desire, when it comes to things like our eating habits, our sleeping habits, and our ability to have sex and reproduce and procreate, we kind of de-evolve these energies, and we kind of look at these energies and take these energies for granted. So that's one reason that generational Z is kind of filled with a whole bunch of flunkies, because we don't have nobody actually being spiritual adults or being able to take on and be able to take that accountability. And so we don't have nowhere to look, and it's kind of like a free for all for everybody right now. We're all going to like a free for all, Call of Duty free for all right now when it comes to everybody and their mama. So even when looking at our mama and our parents and the people that came before us, these people didn't really pave a way for us unless you a type of person that's in the government or in one of those positions where you don't have to do nothing but sleep in your belly all day, and your grandchildren, they can already go to school for free, and they are the ones who already they're the ones who create these indoctrinations and these doctrines for us, so that we can we have to go to school for 15 years to get a degree that's not going to be have any value in the way that society is being conducted, and being able to actually get a job nowadays. So a lot of people is coming to the realization that that's a waste of their time as well. So this kind of puts us in a position where we have to be the example. We have to be the ones to start to create these new businesses, to start create this new education systems, to start to create this new way of politicking, to start to create this new way of how religious is viewed. And we may have to kind of get rid of some of these things as well, especially if we want the younger generation, the generation that's coming after us, to be fruitful when it comes to their way of being humanitarians and just being humane, because we're kind of losing concepts of actually being humane and actually enjoying our human experience, because things are getting so limited, things are getting so controlled, and we are under control right now when it comes to us just being a generation. And if we continue to let this go on, this is just going to be more generations under us that's going to be getting controlled and getting wiped away when it comes to us being real men and women and male and female down here. So we have to keep that in mind as well. We can't get too discouraged by what's actually being presented, or get too discouraged by what's actually the templates that's actually there for us to kind of put us in these positions, because ain't nobody in generational Z coming to speak up. We're not seeing nothing being changed when it comes to politics, and we still got to vote. People still thinking that's something that we need to do. People thinking that's something that's going to change the world, when actually that's not going to benefit nobody but the people that's orchestrating that behind the scenes. So we got to keep that in mind as well when it comes to generational Z. But if we can get more people on this line of reasoning and train of thought, we can kind of come together as a collective and start to change these things for the better, instead of them making us emotionally aroused by presenting a operational variable or psyop to make us play out some changing and rebellious energies against things that's gonna against things that's not gonna work in our favor. So they got that wrapped up as well, because we seen how they can kind of manipulate our mind by using their witchcraft and tactics and things of those natures to kind of get us distracted into what they want to present and what they want to present on their Titantron Magic Square Global Magic One, and point us into that direction that's just going to lead us off a cliff. But if we kind of gain control of our power and get more of a grip on our power, we can point ourselves in the right direction. We can point ourselves into a more promised land that's going to be more fruitful and have better outcomes for humanity in general. And we start to evolve as a collective conscious, evolve as a spiritual root race, so we won't have to take these bodies anymore through levels of carnation, incarnation, reincarnation, because that's eventually going to become a more holistic for us, because we're not actually taking that step in humanity to actually evolve these natures. We're kind of de-evolving these natures and creating more limited circumstances for ourselves. So we got to keep that in mind as well when it comes to generational Z. So we got to make sure that we do have people and kind of helping each other out and supporting each other, especially when it comes to people trying to present their original ideas, so we can get back closer to our spiritual predecessors and become the spiritual predecessors, so we can lead people more into the promised land when we pass on, but our vibe and our energy still lingers around to kind of help other people that's after us, give them direction, because we didn't have that direction. So we're going to be going through a lot of experiences, and generational Z is going through a lot of experiences. We may be going through a lot of failures as well, that we may have to kind of chalk it up this lifetime, but like better luck next lifetime. So it's a whole bunch of people that's we see, and it's being presented on social media, and we got access to things like social media to kind of get this message across. And I'm just the messenger. Don't shoot me. I'm just the messenger. I'm just the INFJ. So yeah, I'm just here to point y'all in the right direction and help y'all get more grips of y'all power, so y'all can start to take y'all power back, so that y'all can evolve out of these holistic shapes and forms and reach an egg and give birth to a new way of a new world, a new atmosphere, so that we all can live out that dream and that imagination that's more in favor for all possibilities in God. But yeah, I just want to hop on TikTok because I ain't posted in a minute, and just run down why generational Z is filled with a whole bunch of flunkies, because we get enticed by things like monetary gain. We get enticed by things like likes and attention, and soon as the shadow government can get like a puppet to make us want to steer us, our minds, our esoteric currency. We give our esoteric currency to that energy signature that they created, that logos theos that they created behind closed doors is practicing. Once they utilize this, I think I lost my point. No, I didn't. But they utilize a puppet to push an agenda or narrative that they want to see walk the earth again, that may not even be in favorable to your spiritual state of being or your spiritual natures. So we got to keep that in mind as well, especially if you're trying to evolve and blossom into a butterfly, and you're tired of experiencing the same thing, the same routines and patterns and holistic scenarios. So this is going to be us having to get back more in tune with our spiritual tribes, our spiritual natures, our spiritual soul groups and lineages. And this may have to deal with us having to kind of separate from our blood family and things of those natures. So a lot of people, a lot of generational Z's need to kind of come to this realization and understand that the life that we was the life that we got born into may not even be the actual life that's meant for us, or that's going to help us be able to evolve as a spiritual root race, or just a spiritual individual, or just an individual in general. So, and if you cling on too much into this flesh and this aspiration, the one, two, and third dimension, that means that you're just a person that likes to be in these holistic states of being. So you're already a demon. So we got to keep that in mind. So we got to stay clear away from those demons, because if you be around too many demons in your lives, then these are the same individuals that's gonna be wanting to drag you down back into hell, and you trying to become an atmosphere. You're trying to become an angel, so that you can be able to rise out of these energies and be able to become more atmospherical light, so that you can experience the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimension, like the one, two, and third dimension. And things there is going to be a little bit more dreamlike. So when it comes to us sharing imaginations and visions on that spectrum and that scale, things will be like how we was, creating bodies when we first before we first created and manifested this